its partners, companies like Asus, and beg them to put Windows on one of the laptops, on one of the tablets, and this company will probably reluctantly do that because they already have to be nice to Microsoft so that they can sell their desktops. But these companies are really interested in Android. So the last remaining thing Microsoft can do here is to try and tax Android to death, to the point where the companies will say, well, Windows is not as good, but we're willing to let it be embedded in the thing because it's about the same price, or maybe it's even an even better price. So one thing that Microsoft has been trying to do now is to sue and sue and sue lots of companies and scare them. They started with the file allocation table patent, and they tried to proceed from one company to the other. And as far as I know, they get lots of companies to sign deals about that. The only company which really challenged it properly was at first TomTom, and they kind of gave up after a while and paid to settle. But one thing I mentioned before, and I have to find some time to do posts about it, is that Microsoft is using all kinds of other companies from the outside to add more and more and more tax using patents to Android. I don't really know how much they can raise that, but now they have the co-founder of Microsoft, Paul Allen, is suing Android, and they have this person called Nathan Myhrvold, who is a personal friend of Bill Gates, and he's also, as far as I can tell from an article I read, the deal he had with HTC was apparently an actual payment for him not to sue over Android. So here you have all this kind of old school Microsoft coming together and suing and threatening all these companies to pay for Android and trying to raise the price of that. And even if they don't win, and even if they don't persuade these companies to pay Microsoft for Android, what's actually going to happen is Microsoft is going to make a cash cow, or Microsoft and its friends are going to make a cash cow out of somebody else's works. So that I find kind of disturbing, to be honest.
Well, sorry, Gordon, was there anything else you want to add before we cover our next few topics?
No, not at all.
Marvellous. Right. Well, really, Roy, if you want to bring up any other titles before we have a quick discussion on one of the articles of the week. Roy, is there anything else you want to bring up before
we had about a week of news or so that we...
Yep, go for it.
Well, we don't have anything too major. I think that we haven't covered so far. There was just a couple of days ago, I think that's a subject of discussion we want to have. There was some news again about Wikileaks and a reason to kind of open this box again and try to talk about issues of free speech and issues of privacy and things like that. And I was hoping we both, I know some of you are actually in a hurry to go somewhere more interesting. So I was hoping we could,
for the benefits of the listeners, that was a quick dig at me from my pub visit. No, Roy, it's fine. You crack on with the topics you want to cover, and I can put the pub on hold until we're done, so it's not an issue.
All right. So I didn't prepare to introduce anything or the subject, but I wrote so far, I'd say like 300 dents about it or tweets about it. This is the situation with the WikiLeaks activists being exposed by Twitter, in a sense, after a request for information from the Department of Justice in the United States. The issue is some of the people involved are not from the United States. One of them is in fact a member of parliament in Iceland, and it's not a subpoena. That's really important to stress, but it is a request for information, and Twitter complied with the request, but at least they notified the people involved, which doesn't usually happen with companies like Facebook and Google, which are asked now by WikiLeaks to disclose if they gave any information about those, about themselves. And also, some people suggest, wrongly in fact, that based on the submission which was supposedly leaked from the Twitter folks, every person who was following the account of WikiLeaks in Twitter is also potentially being probed by the Department of Justice, which might be preparing some kind of case against certain people who it finds to be, dangerous to the foreign policy in their home country. So That's really troubling for all sorts of reasons, and I was hoping we might discuss them. So,
well, the floor's open to you, Gordon, if you want to put across your opinions.
I just think this is a bit nuts, really. It's hardly surprising, sadly. I mean, for years we see the great Western democracies taking the moral high ground, whether that's Britain, America, France, Germany, whoever, Australia, countries who like to believe that they are leaders and morally superior and all that, pointing the finger at Iran, at North Korea, at China, and Burma, and all these other, Indonesia, and all these regimes, these countries, where they do clamp down and they do shut down dissidents and investigate and make up spurious charges and all of that. And then you've got the world leader, America, and one of its political departments, one of its departments of state, the Department of Justice, demanding that same information from about a foreign individual. And I mean, you could imagine the outcry. Hillary Clinton's already tried we protect our journalists and allow freedom of press and all that, while at the same time doing anything and everything to defame and crush and destroy and silence Wikileaks. It's a joke. It's hypocrites and it's a joke. What Wikileaks has shown over and over and over is just how much of hypocrites a lot of these diplomats and policies are. They say one thing in public while doing something the complete opposite in private. And this thing, if this was the Iranian religious police demanding of Twitter to hand over direct messages of people the religious police decided were immoral, then we in the West would, and even the American, the British government and all that, and the PM, the President, and all these politicians be on their high horse saying, this is outrageous, they shouldn't be able to do that, and they're just blatantly being targeted and blah, blah, blah. But yet when they do it, it's fine. You know, it's all just par for the course. I mean, the fact that it turns out to be one of the people they're targeting happens to be an MP in a foreign government is actually quite it's quite amusing, really.
There is a big backlash at the moment. The Iceland, I think, foreign minister or something is stepping up, and they actually do try to protect people's privacy. And this is one of the countries which is known for protecting privacy better than most nations. One other thing is I thought about the comparisons to what happened if it was in China, or if China requested some information, or some people say Libya. But it's to make the analogy actually work, you have to assume that Twitter is then based in China or in Libya and places like that, because one of the advantages the United States has is when they want to investigate a person, if they have to approach a local company, they have to obey the laws within this area. So it's not a perfect example to say, well, if Iran comes to Twitter and Twitter is located in the United States, it's going to be quite a different situation also from the point of view of the Department of Justice. You know, that they don't have to approach this in quite the same way. So
yeah, that's true. I just think it's hardly surprising that from what I can see is it's like the Laurie Drew case, that there was outrage among certain people that Laurie Drew, for those who don't know, Laurie Drew was a woman who impersonated a teenage boy to have a go at her neighbour's daughter or something, and on MySpace, and eventually the girl thought that she was dealing with a boy her own age, and she eventually committed suicide, and people were trying to find some sort of twisting of the law that to apply laws in ways they'd never been intended as a way to punish Laurie Drew and hold her responsible. And I mean, for me, she was largely responsible. The problem is there's no laws that she had broken. And this is the point, they were trying to twist the laws in her case
They have a new law
to punish her. Well, yeah, I mean it's trying to create a new law or twist a new law. So that's what WikiLeaks screams of to me, is they're determined to use anything and everything to